Coming up here on a Wednesday, we're following that breaking news and the suspect in that mass shooting that left 5 neighbors dead in Texas, now arrested and in custody. How police tracked him down and where they found him. We'll have all the details. And then the Biden administration sending 1,500 active duty military troops to the southern border ahead of an expected migrant surge. We'll have the latest on the reaction to that move this morning, and those stories and so much more on GMA.
Local headlines are coming up, plus a look at your local forecast. And right now we're looking at TransGuide, and the camera shot I'm seeing, yep, right there, I-35 and Powell. No problems to report there. We've got your Wednesday forecast, as I said, coming up right here on Good Morning San Antonio. Thanks for starting your day with us. Now at 6, a Texas community can breathe a little easier this morning as a shooting suspect who was the subject of a statewide manhunt is now in custody.
It's been very scary, no sleep.
Everybody played a very, very integral part in the arrest and capture of this coward, and he has been magistrated. He now will be taken to my jail and where his new residence will be.
We're following this story closely this morning, and what's next for the suspect?
And let's look out there with live cam starting at 67 degrees. We are expecting maybe a chance of severe storms later this week, but for now, looking nice and calm out there.
Live from KSAT 12, Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
And a good morning to you. We always celebrate when we can cut the work week in half. We've made it to Wednesday. It is May 3rd.
Yes, we did. Thanks for joining us. Hope you had a good week so far. Yesterday, as far as weather, actually turned out to be not too hot. Maybe it was that cloud cover that helped out.
That's right. Mike said expect tranquil weather today, but don't be caught off guard. We could have some problems in the next couple of days.
Yeah, really starting tomorrow, Friday, Saturday, perhaps a little bit on Sunday. One of those situations that we've had the past couple of weeks where low rain chances, but something pops with the volatile atmosphere. They can become severe quite easily, quite strong. But again, today, nothing like that. We've got cloud cover out there. We've got a lot of humidity. We also have some pretty good fog right now. Gonzales 5 miles down to 3/4 of a mile visibility at Seguin and 1 3/4 at New Braunfels. So again, the fog is starting to kind of work its way a little bit to the west. Watch it around Randolph as well as Pleasanton, Stinson, a couple of spots where you start to see some of this fog, and going down 35 or going up 35 as you head in toward New Braunfels. Again, watch out for some of that fog out there, and then more of it off to the east, half mile in Victoria, and New Braunfels just changed to 4 miles visibility. So that's how this fog is going back and forth with visibility. It changes moment by moment, literally, and pretty good out there to the west of us. Now, we do have a couple of sprinkles down here to the southwest, right around Crystal City. A decent shower here and there. A lot of this, where it tried to develop, has just sort of been almost fizzling on out, so it's not really going to amount to anything. A couple of little showers here and there. 67 degrees right now. We dropped down to 1 degree in the past hour. Pretty common number. Port SA, Rio Medina, mid-60s parts of the hill country. Plenty of humidity out there as well. Not like window dripping wet towel sort of humidity, but enough to where you notice it when you step outside. Low amounts of all the allergens. Updated count's going to come out in about an hour and a half. And temperatures this morning are going to stay pretty steady, fluctuated degree here or there. Watch out for some of that fog and those showers off to the west, maybe a little bit of a mist or sprinkle here and there, especially where some of that fog is. So some of the roads are going to be damp, upper 70s at noon, and we'll top off mid 80s later on today. Bit more sunshine than the past couple of days. Not ridiculously hot, but toasty, especially if you're not in the shade. Now, we'll talk about the next couple of days and also look ahead to the weekend because it's going to start to heat up. Details in just a couple of minutes. Traffic Authority, Stephen, what's going on? I got some big problems, right?
We did, Mike, but better news to report here. That multi-vehicle crash that we have had our eyes on for the last 30 minutes or so looks like it's cleared out. I just talked to our friends at TransGuide, so things are looking a lot better here at 35 at Powell and some of the other TransGuide camera shots that they provided for us right there along I-35. Now, we're not sure exactly how many vehicles were involved or the extent of any injuries, but this crash scene was spread out throughout I-35 southbound. So it obviously led first responders to arrive and clear things up pretty quickly. So that's the good news. And you really aren't seeing any more of a delay there. But as we take you to I-35 over on the northeast side, we still have this stalled vehicle that's been reported. It's actually a stalled 18-wheeler right there along the southbound lanes as you approach Loop 1604 if you're coming in from Live Oak. Just be prepared for that and make sure to move over or slow down. Now, the wide view of the metropolitan area really doesn't show a lot else out there, guys. You can see that we do have one stalled vehicle probably out there 1604 35 as you see it near Vaughn Army, but it's not really causing any issues for drivers. If you plan on traveling into San Antonio this early in the morning, we can take a look at some of these travel times. Still pretty pleasant along I-37 northbound if you're heading in from Pleasanton with 28 minutes at this hour. The drive time from US 90 should be about 30 minutes, so perfect time for our friends in Castroville to get the morning started. And the arrival from Lytle should be within about 16 minutes along I-35 northbound. But back here, better news at 35 at Powell Street. As you can see that folks are moving without any trouble, but we're going to continue to watch the roads closely and have an update on that stalled 18-wheeler that's over on the northeast side coming up a little bit later on. Mark.
New this morning, a Bexar County Sheriff's deputy and a woman are safe after a suspect fired multiple gunshots outside of a house. Happened last night just before 10:30 at a home not far from Smithson Valley Road and Bulverde Road in far north Bexar County. Alyssa Cole joins us live downtown with more details on the incident. Alyssa, we know one person is dead. What else can you tell us?
Yes, Mark, one person is dead. Well, the sheriff got a chance to speak with media, and he explained that, of course, one of his deputies shot and killed that suspect. That suspect was 39 years old. Now, here's what we know. These are the details. When deputies arrived at the home, it was about 10:30 last night, and they were responding to what appeared as a disturbance or family violence situation. As soon as they got there, they found a concerned woman right there in the doorway, and behind her, the suspect began pulling back his weapon, quickly releasing and cocking it. One deputy hid behind a vehicle, taking cover. The other followed the woman to the side of the house, where they unfortunately got pinned between a fence and the house that they were running beside. The 39-year-old man, the suspect, he then fired off multiple gunshots before heading towards that trapped woman and the deputy. The deputy, of course, warned that man to put his firearm down. The man did not comply, and this led to the deputy shooting and killing the 39-year-old male suspect. Eventually, authorities were able to identify the female victim as a 41-year-old woman, and they were able to get two children out of the house safely as well. Now, it is important to note that no one was injured during this case, but right now the sheriff's office homicide team and the DA's office have taken over this case. But for now, reporting in San Antonio, Alyssa Cole, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, Alyssa. Happening today, the man accused in a shooting rampage here in Texas that left 5 people dead is scheduled to appear in court. Our Sarah Costa is staying on top of the new developments and joins us right now. Good morning, Sarah.
Hey, good morning, Steph. This comes after the suspect had not been found by law enforcement for 4 days, a search sparking fear among people in Cleveland, Texas. That's about an hour north of Houston. Last night, the manhunt came to an end after 38-year-old Francisco Opresa was found hiding underneath a pile of laundry in the closet of a home. He was caught in San Jacinto County. That's just north of Houston and about 20 miles from the crime scene in Cleveland. He's accused of shooting and killing 5 people, including a 9-year-old boy and his mother. Officials say the gunfire began shortly after neighbors had asked Opresa to stop shooting his rifle in front of the house.
We just want to thank the person who had the courage and bravery to call in the suspect's location.
They can rest easy now because he is behind bars, and he will live out his life behind bars for killing those 5.
Authorities are now trying to determine if anyone helped him hide in the days after the shooting. His current immigration status isn't known, and authorities say he entered the U.S. illegally and has been deported 4 times since 2009. We'll continue to keep an eye on this developing story. Mark and Steph.
Other stories are following this morning. The Biden administration deploying more troops to the southern border. It comes just days before Title 42 is set to expire. That policy allowed the U.S. to expel asylum seekers due to concerns about COVID. Now, without that policy, border agents are bracing for a flood of migrants. Here's ABC's Justin Finch to explain the new action the White House is taking.
This morning, with the expiration of Title 42 looming, the Pentagon says the first of 1,500 active duty troops could arrive at the border as soon as next week.
In light of the changes on May 11th and the anticipated surge, DHS did reach out and request this support.
Title 42 allowed the U.S. to reject migrants based on COVID concerns, but that will no longer be possible with the COVID health emergency expiring May 11th. And now Border Patrol agents say they urgently need help to process the expected surge of migrants, which could top 10,000 per day.
I don't have enough agents, I don't have enough infrastructure, I don't have enough technology. I have other areas where I think our agents have really locked down the border security situation.
The White House says the troops will deploy for 90 days, but only in a support role to free up border agents to deal with migrants directly.
These personnel will be performing administrative tasks like data entry and warehouse support. They will not be performing law enforcement functions.
But President Biden's former director for border management is slamming the decision to send troops, saying deploying military personnel suggests a concerning lack of readiness for this transition. The situation has escalated into a greater emergency that will once again lead to troops in border communities. Republicans have blamed President Biden for easing border restrictions and making this crisis worse. But the White House says any meaningful immigration reform needs to come from Congress, not the president. Meanwhile, some breaking news overnight. Mexico has agreed to continue accepting migrants from at least 4 countries who are expelled by the U.S. Analysts say this will help act as a deterrent for those making the journey north. Justin Finch, ABC News, Washington.
A former FBI supervisory special agent has been arrested on charges related to the January 6, 2021 U.S. Capitol breach. Jared Wise was arrested this week in Oregon. He has not yet entered a formal plea on the 4 federal crimes he is charged with, including illegally entering and remaining in the Capitol building. Investigators say Wise entered the Capitol, confronted officers, and shouted "kill him" multiple times to rioters who were attacking police in front of him. The Justice Department has charged more than 1,000 people in the attack on the Capitol, including several active or former members of law enforcement.
Nearly 300 people are now in custody, all part of a global drug trafficking crackdown. The U.S. Department of Justice says Operation Spectre targeted trafficking of fentanyl and opioids on the dark web. The international effort spanned Europe, South America, and the U.S., with some suspects facing prosecution across several federal courts right here in Texas.
The fight against opioids is something we have been following closely as part of our series Fighting Fentanyl. You can scan this QR code for more information, and that will direct you to that information about fentanyl, what it is, how it affects your body, and how people who are addicted can get help. And in the case if you missed it on the Night Beat, our newest episode of Fighting Fentanyl is all about hope. A different program from UT Health San Antonio received a big grant to help people suffering from addiction. And right now on KSAT.com, you can see how that will help people suffering from opioid addiction.
Right now, 6:11, 67 degrees.
Coming up today on GMSA at 9, technology is meant to improve our lives, but that doesn't always happen. A new Consumer Report investigation reveals some of the things that power our lives each day can contain hidden biases that result in unfair practices towards communities of color. At 9, we're going to talk with an expert about that investigation and what they found when it comes to healthcare, mortgage lending, and facial recognition technology.
And still to come, this is kind of sad. A viral TikTok video is warning of a new scam preying on grandparents using the AI-generated voice of a loved one. That's ahead in your GMA First Look.
Look out there with live cam. 67 degrees to start your day and expecting another warm afternoon. We'll have Mike later with all the details. Welcome back at 6:15. Stock prices slid in trading yesterday ahead of today's decision on interest rates. The Fed is wrapping up its latest 2-day meeting and is widely expected to push interest rates up again. The Dow and Nasdaq both closed down 1.1%, while the S&P dropped 1.2%.
Also lower the number of jobs available across the country. Openings in March fell to 9.6 million. That's the lowest in nearly 2 years. The same Labor Department report also showed layoffs rising to 1.8 million, the highest since late 2020.
And Ford is once again cutting the price of its electric Mustang Mach-E SUV. This comes as Ford ramps up its price war with Tesla. Tesla has cut prices 6 times so far this year, and Ford's price cuts come to $3,000 to $4,000 for most models, or about 6%. That will lower the sticker price to between $43,000 and $60,000. Ford also said it would increase production of the Mach-E in the second half of this year.
Prices for cars are still sky high. I heard a report right before our newscast this morning, and now, I guess, in the U.S. market, there are only 4 cars left that cost less than $20,000 a year. Everything else, well over that now on average.
Not a lot of options as far as the newer vehicles go.
No.
Time now 6:16, and let's see if we see any new vehicles on the roadways with Stephen Cavazos.
You know, I'm sure they're out there somewhere, but you know, it's too dark to see how new they are. But we are seeing a little bit more traffic pick up there at 37 at Houston. Let's get a quick look around town. 37 at Fair Avenue is not a bad shot. You can see really the north and southbound lanes are pretty wide open for you right now. So perfect opportunity to get the morning started and grab that cup of coffee. But watch out at 410 at Perrin Vitals, getting a little bit busier. We did have a few issues that were reported, and you saw some of that on TransGuide earlier in the morning, but now things are fine as we're getting closer to morning rush. So just watch out, especially there at 281 near Hildebrand. Slow down before you get to that curve there. Taking a look here at 35 over on the northeast side, the southbound lanes near Loop 1604, we did actually have a stalled 18-wheeler that was causing really little to no issues. Now, the good news is that stall looks like it's cleared out, but the bad news for our friends that are traveling southbound, you're going to see a little bit of a slowdown at this hour. So that's expected as folks are making their way into the Alamo City, let's say from Schertz or Live Oak. But let's now give you a view of what's happening here in San Antonio. Not a whole lot, which is great, but there still is some of that active construction that is taking place. And a quick reminder, but this is actually happening off Loop 1604 on the far east side of Bexar County. Cable installation. This has been current since last week, and it's going to take us all the way up until Saturday, May 13th. That work begins at 8 in the morning and should hopefully wrap around 4 in the afternoon. We'll see alternating lane closures in both directions from FM 78 to Hanover Cove. But always head over to ksat.com/traffic for a full list of closures there. But other than that, guys, things have just been moving along without any trouble here. Again, the good news is some of the issues that we saw earlier have since cleared out, but thankfully, not a lot worried.
They cleared out.
They cleared out, yeah.
Okay. That's good news there.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say, it's warm, but my daughter forgot her hoodie for inside the classroom yesterday. She was like, it's kind of cold inside.
Yeah, one of those, again, where there's enough humidity. When you start to get more of this humidity and kind of that moisture almost gets on your clothes and things like that, and you go into the air conditioning, it's like, geez, yeah, turn it down a little bit. So you don't need a jacket. Outside this morning with temperatures that are in the mid-60s around here. A couple little patches of fog, some mist. There's a few showers off to the west. And later on today, not bad looking day. We'll have more sunshine than the past couple of days, make it up to 84. Normal high temperatures 83. So in the ballpark of, again, where we should be. So take a look at this picture, and boy, it'd be nice summertime. Nice. Little swimming hole up there.
All it's missing, Mike, is your fantastic nature sounds.
I won't spoil the picture. Nueces River, the old swimming hole, Camp Wood, Texas. Thank you very much for that.
No loons or anything?
Pardon me?
No loons or?
No.
Okay.
No, thank you. So appreciate that, though. Thanks for asking. We've got a lot of clouds this morning, and there's those few little sprinkly showers out there to the west. Well, got a little bad radar picture going in there, but you can see there's just a couple of them out there. That's pretty much the extent of it. Now, fog, at one point it was down to 1.75 miles at New Braunfels, and now it's at 4 miles. Same thing at Gonzales. Do have some thicker fog right around Seguin right there. Not too bad in the metropolitan area, the rest of the metropolitan area. Victoria, half-mile visibility. So this will be something, again, over the next couple of hours, it may get thicker at times, may try and thin out. This afternoon, we'll have a bit more sunshine, a few more clouds kind of thrown into the mix, perhaps a few showers coming off the mountains of Mexico. Then tomorrow, 1 or 2 showers out there during the day. And then this is one of the computer models. This is that rapid update model. And this is the one that's a little more generous, a little more bullish as far as rain developing than tomorrow evening, and some of those thunderstorm cells, especially down around Uvalde, down to the southwest, and a couple of them well north of our viewing area. This is one thing that a couple of the models are on agreement with, is that it looks like the focal point for our area would be further on down to the south and to the southwest. Now, that doesn't mean there won't be something popping up elsewhere. And again, I got to emphasize that rain chances are fairly low, but if something does pop, then the odds of it becoming severe, especially in the hill country, and this is going to be tomorrow late, are okay. On a scale of 1 to 5, this would be a 2, this would be a 1, the lighter shade of pink. And then going to Friday, and a few of those showers, thunderstorms, low chance of rain could become severe. So we've got the chance for a couple of isolated ones. And I think once we then get into tomorrow, then the day 3 would be on Saturday, and I would venture a guess that Storm Prediction Center would also have a small chance for a strong to severe storm on Saturday as well, with the volatile atmosphere around here. We are going to be heating up going into the weekend, right around 90 degrees, plenty of humidity out there. Low temperatures will be staying well above normal, a good 5 to 10 degrees above their respective normals, all the way going into next week. We started, the past couple of weeks, we've had a few of these fronts moving on through here. We had that one move through Friday, talked about, with that huge low off to the northeast of us and that big, almost kind of roller coaster action. Well, there's another low. This is kind of dominating us by throwing in all the disturbances and moisture from the Pacific Ocean. But as you go into the long range, notice how things kind of flatten out just a little bit here. We don't have any more of those fronts in the offing around anytime soon, or even going into next week. So that means it's just going to stay kind of summery, right? Don't get those little breaks anymore. So 78 degrees, noon, mostly cloudy skies. High temperature today makes it up to 84, partly cloudy skies. Not a bad looking day today, with still some humidity out there. Tomorrow, we will have a few little scattered showers around the area. Then the chance for a few showers, thunderstorms tomorrow evening. Some may be severe. Same thing Friday, Saturday. Even Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, chance for a couple of showers around here and or a thunderstorm. But we're really going to have to watch it the next about 3 evenings for some of those to be strong.
Okay.
And then hot.
Yeah, then just plain old hot. Yeah.
We're used to that. Thank you, Mike.
Time right now, 6:23, 67 degrees.
Look out there with TransSky, looking at I-35 at Nogalitos and I-35 at Powell. Those shots look good, but we're going to check in again with our Stephen Cavazos after the break.
There it is. That feeling you get when you can do more with less asthma. It starts with Dupixent. Dupixent is not for sudden breathing problems. It's an add-on treatment for specific types of moderate to severe asthma and can help improve lung function for better breathing in as little as 2 weeks. Dupixent helps prevent asthma attacks and can even reduce or eliminate oral steroids. Can you picture it? Dupixent can cause allergic reactions that can be severe. Get help right away if you have rash, chest pain, worsening shortness of breath, tingling, or numbness in your limbs. Tell your doctor about new or worsening joint aches and pain or a parasitic infection. Don't change or stop asthma medicines, including steroids, without talking to your doctor. Who knows what you can do when you do more with less asthma? Ask your asthma specialist about Dupixent.
In this morning's GMA First Look, an alarming new scam fueled by AI technology.
Because they actually used his voice, made it that much more real.
Lee Hall says his parents received a distress call they thought was their grandson Christian.
He told my father or his grandfather that he was vacationing in Mexico with his friends, got in trouble, scared to death.
The voice so convincing, pleading for help and money, but the person on the other line wasn't their grandson at all.
The story really hit home to my father because it said, "Grandpa, this is Christian," and really mimicked his voice. So I think it became very visceral for him. He believed it. Unfortunately for him, it cost him $1,000+.
And the Halls aren't alone. Impersonator scams were the highest reported scams in 2022, and we'll have much more coming up at 7 a.m., plus the expert tips to protect yourself. With your GMA First Look, I'm Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, New York.
A Bexar County Sheriff deputy and a woman are safe after a suspect fired multiple gunshots just feet away from them. Good morning, I'm Melissa Cole, and coming up, we'll tell you what the deputy did before he shot and killed the suspect.
Outside with LiveCam this morning, kind of a nice morning out there, very peaceful and quiet. The sun trying to break through those clouds, but Mike wants us to be storm aware over the next couple of days, pretty much the rest of the week. Good morning, we made it to Wednesday. It is May 3rd.
Happy Wednesday. Thanks for joining us. We hope you've had a good week so far. How about you guys? How's your week going?
Yeah. Good. I'm post-Fiesta, I feel like it's just really tough to get the engine going.
Like coming down off of Christmas and New Year's a little bit.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, because it's like, wow, going nuts, and then it's like, okay, it's over.
We're back.
So when you talk about being on storm alert the rest of the week, but not today. Today's going to be a pretty tranquil day. As a matter of fact, we're going to have a little more sunshine today than what we've had the past couple of days. A lot of clouds starting off as of right now, and temperature stands at 67. 64 is the dew point. So yes, noticeable humidity, not anything oppressively humid out there. A little bit of a breeze out of the northwest right now. Got some fog up around New Braunfels, Seguin, fairly good chunk of fog, and then over toward Gonzales down to 3 miles visibility. So we're just going to have to watch as, like yesterday, this little batch tries to scooch its way off to the west slightly this morning, and then further off to the east, Victoria is down to just a quarter-mile visibility as of right now. We've been watching some of these little showers down here to the southwest, and they're not amounting to anything, just a couple of them out there. They'll be sticking around for the next few hours, and that'll be it. Temperatures are really consistent this morning. Everybody's in the mid-60s right now, and again, noticeable humidity, not anything too oppressive, not like midsummer kind of humidity out there. Low amounts of all the allergens. The updated count's going to come out in about an hour or so. 78 at noon, 84 high temperature today with, like I said, more sunshine than the past couple of days, and nothing as far as any rain chances around there other than those few sprinkles around this morning. Tomorrow, Friday, Saturday, those are the days we're really going to have to watch out for. Not a great chance of rain, but if something does pop, could become severe quite easily. We'll talk about that and a closer look at some of the weekend temperatures, which are going to be hot. Details in just a few minutes. Traffic authority. So you had some problems earlier this morning. Still going on or not?
Things have cleared out, Mike, but we're starting to see a few more stalled vehicles that are popping up on our TransGuide camera. This is one of them. They're at 35 at US 90. You can see that we have a TxDOT Hero truck already out there on the scene. So that's the good news. But check your vehicles before you get your morning started, because we do have a few of those stalls that have been in and out and scattered around our map. So just watch out. But as we take a look here, we're not seeing any other major issues that have been reported. Our Wednesday morning commute started off a little bit rocky, guys. We did have a multi-vehicle crash that was reported along 35 southbound near US 90. That's already cleared out. You may have received a push alert about that, so don't worry traveling through there, but nonetheless, remember to drive safe. Taking a look there, though, we are starting to see slowdowns in the usual hotspots, US 90 as you approach 1604 on the far west side of Bexar County, and we're also seeing that as well coming in from Live Oak along I-35 southbound. That's always expected as well. Add some construction into that, it could make for a pretty slow commute for some folks, but thankfully no major issues have been reported. But again, check your vehicles, and it looks like this one just wrapped up there. You can see the TxDOT Hero truck leaving the scene. So again, anytime you see those flashing lights, just make sure to move over or slow down. We'll be watching the roads closely, and as always, make sure you do the same. Mark, Steph.
Thank you, Stephen. New this morning, an investigation is underway, and a Bexar County Sheriff's deputy and woman are safe after a suspect fired multiple gunshots outside of a house. It happened last night just before 10:30 at a home not far from Smithson Valley Road and Bulverde Road. That's in far north Bexar County. Our Alyssa Cole joins us live downtown with more details on the case. And Alyssa, we know one person is dead. What else can you tell us about the case?
Good morning, Stephanie. We know that the Bexar County Sheriff reported that one of his deputies shot and killed the suspect responsible for firing those multiple gunshots outside of the house. But of course, he and the female victim are safe. But unfortunately for that suspect, he did pass away. He was 39 years old. Now, here are the details that we know. This is what we know about the case. When deputies arrived, a concerned woman appeared in the doorway as the suspect began pulling back his weapon, releasing it quickly and cocking it. One deputy, of course, took action. He hid behind a vehicle to take cover, and the other deputy followed the woman on the side of the house, where unfortunately they got pinned between that house and a back fence. Now, the 39-year-old man, the suspect, he began firing off multiple gunshots before heading towards where that trapped deputy and woman were, where the fence in the house was. He was on his way over there. The deputy, of course, warned the man. He explained to him, put the firearm down. He warned him several times, but the man did not comply. And this is what led the deputy to shooting the suspect multiple times.
Has been some sort of a prior history, domestic violence related history between these two. Our office has handled some sort of domestic disturbances between the two, and at present we believe that this suspect at one time worked in law enforcement as well.
Yes, as you all heard, the sheriff office and the DA's office homicide team, they all have been working very hard overnight. Now, eventually it was released that the female victim was 41 years old, and the deputies were also able to take 2 children out of the house safely. It is important to note no one was injured. The children, the woman, or the deputies, no one was injured. Everyone was safe. But we do know the sheriff's office homicide team and the DA's office are leading the investigation as of now. But for now, reporting in San Antonio, Alyssa Cole, KSAT 12 News.
Your County Sheriff's deputies seized over $9,000 worth of methamphetamines during an arrest last Friday.
This happened on the county's southwest side, and our Sarah Costa joins us live with the very latest. Good morning, Sarah.
Good morning, Mark and staff. It wasn't just a bag of meth found in plain sight, but it was also a stolen firearm. The woman responsible is now behind bars. She is 29-year-old Jacqueline Gutierrez, who BCSO deputies say was wanted for felon in possession of a firearm when BCSO Organized Crime Division arrived for a search warrant on the home in Hollenbach Avenue, that's near Quintana Road, on the county's southwest side. Last Friday, they found the large bag of meth in plain sight. So during the search of the property, deputies found 451 grams of meth, drug paraphernalia, and a stolen handgun on property. The drugs are worth around $9,000. Gutierrez is charged with possession with intent to deliver over 400 grams of meth and 2 counts of felon in possession of a firearm. Jacqueline Gutierrez is being held without bond in the Bexar County Jail. Mark?
Thank you, Sarah. Also new this morning, San Antonio firefighters had a tough time fighting a fire at a home south of downtown last night. This was a scene after 1:30 on McKinley Avenue. That's not far from South Preston Street and I-10. We're told fire crews did not have access to the attic, so they had to cut through the roof to get to the flames. The 5 people inside were able to get out safely. The Red Cross is assisting them. There's no word yet on how much damage was caused.
3 people are in the hospital this morning after being hit on 1604 and Huebner Road. According to San Antonio police, there was a 2-vehicle accident around 11:30 last night, and the drivers got out to exchange information, and that's when another vehicle crashed into the back of them. One of the victims is in critical condition, while the other 2 are expected to be okay.
Other stories we're following closely this morning. The man wanted for the execution-style mass shooting of 5 members of one family here in Texas is finally in custody this morning after that 4-day manhunt. ABC's Justin Finch has new details.
Good morning. That prime suspect now behind bars and facing 5 murder counts after a crucial tip to an FBI tip line. The 4-day manhunt for Francisco Oropesa finished. Oropesa caught thanks to a caller to an FBI tip line. A multi-agency takedown followed, involving U.S. Marshals, U.S. Border Patrol, and members of Texas law enforcement.
We just want to thank the person who had the courage and bravery to call in the suspect's location.
That location, some 17 miles west of Cleveland, Texas, where authorities say Oropesa was in his yard firing rounds from his AR-15 style weapon Friday night, prompting complaints from a neighboring family whose baby was kept awake due to the gunfire. Texas authorities say Oropesa then turned his gun on that family, killing 5, including that baby's mother and 9-year-old brother. The family, all originally from Honduras, their surviving loved ones left suffering.
They can rest easy now because he is behind bars, and he will live out his life behind bars for killing those 5.
Officials say Oropesa, a Mexican national, has been deported from the U.S. 4 times since 2009 and now faces 5 murder counts and a $5 million bond. Authorities say that FBI tipster will receive award money, the total increasing to $100,000. Justin Finch, ABC News, Washington.
640, 66 degrees.
After the break, new details about an arrest made during Fiesta.
New this morning, more DWI arrests were made this year than last year during Fiesta.
This report was released yesterday by the San Antonio Police Department, and our Sarah Costa is live in the newsroom with a breakdown of that report. Good morning, Sarah.
Good morning, Mark and staff. San Antonio police say they arrested 151 people for DWI during Fiesta this year. So each year, SAPD puts out the number of DWI arrests that occurred during Fiesta time periods, which occurred this year between April 20th and April 30th. This year's number is higher than last year's, up by 22 DWI arrests from 2022, but 18 fewer than 2021. So keep in mind, police say the data does not necessarily reflect whether the motorist was driving after attending a Fiesta event. The 2022 numbers of arrests had been the lowest since 2018, though the citywide party was canceled in 2020 due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The numbers have been steadily declining since at least 2018, when 227 DWI arrests were reported during Fiesta. Mark and staff.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you. Looking over at Topper Wine Road, things look kind of messy over there. Let's check back with our Stephen Cavazos.
Oh yeah, big mess out there, guys. 35 there. You can see the northbound lanes are really going to be a trouble spot for drivers. We noticed that it does look like there is some sort of 18-wheeler or box trailer that appears to be involved in a crash at this hour. We do notice also that first responders have arrived to the scene, as well as what looks like a fire unit out there. Multiple lanes are blocked and folks are trying to exit early. Just take that in for a minute, because if you have plans that are going to take you north onto the northeast side, close to Live Oak or Forum Parkway, you're going to have some trouble there. You can see some of the drivers that are trying to navigate around that area. So again, the northbound lanes are going to be a trouble spot, and you can see a lot of that reflected right there on the map. Plenty of red that continues to build out there, and it's happening during a very busy time. Morning rush has already started, so this is going to slow folks down that are heading north, but let's hope everyone's doing okay. But remember, we also had some issues in the southbound lanes with that stall 18-wheeler. That's already cleared out, but we're still seeing some big delays out there, and that could just be because folks are just getting the morning started. Giving you a wide look at the map now, we're going to start to see a lot more of that red take over, and you can see a lot of it US 90. Always like to point that out for our friends in Castroville. Expect some delays there, as well as State Highway 151 eastbound if you're traveling in from the far west side. But we're going to continue to watch these areas closely, but let's get one last look here at 35 there at Topper Wine. It does appear multiple lanes are blocked at this hour. No word yet on any injuries. We hope everyone's doing okay out there, but you notice that fire unit has blocked at least 3 lanes, including the shoulder lane. So I would say they're going to probably shut that area down pretty soon.
Yeah, everybody's having to work together to merge over there in a really tricky spot.
Yeah.
Stephen, thank you.
Then you got a bunch of rubberneckers southbound.
Yeah,
always.
Yeah, 100%. You need to keep your focus on the roads, guys.
All right. Tranquil pic. That's one of my favorite pictures I've seen in a long time. So the big picture, look down to the lower left, though.
Aww.
That's what makes it so sweet. Those 2 little ones right there on the sidewalk. I love that. That's just the sweetest little picture. Thank you very much for that one. All right, we've got a lot of clouds hanging around here again this morning, and still have those few little showers off there to the southwest. Disturbance kind of moving on through here. So yeah, those will be sticking around here for the next couple of hours. Not any big deal as far as rain is concerned, but hey, we'll take any rain down there to the southwest. Now, we do have fog off to the east, 2.5 miles visibility. Gonzales, right around Seguin, some pretty good fog, and then New Braunfels at 4 miles. So we'll continue to kind of watch this over the next couple of hours if this decides to drift to sort of develop a little bit further off to the west. Victoria, 0.5 mile visibility. That's the thickest around here. A little bit going up toward Austin as well, and that's pretty much it. And slight bit down to the southwest, down 35 right around Cotulla. Throughout the rest of today, steady temperatures this morning, and there's that chance, 10% shot, that couple of showers down there to the southwest, and with any fog, there may be some mist. So watch that for any damp spots on the roads. 78 at noon, more sunshine today, actually more sunshine than what we've seen the past couple of days around here, and that's going to get us up to 84, 83 being the normal high temperature. So we are right about where we should be. Computer model. All right, today, nothing really going on. More clouds come back in here tonight. Tomorrow, then we start off with clouds, maybe a little bit of mist around here, and then going into the afternoon and evening hours. Now, this is another one of the computer models that does try to, not everything's in agreement. That's one of the quandaries, I guess you could say, with this forecast going into tomorrow. But this one also is focusing the biggest area, or the best area, I guess, for any thunderstorm development would be down to the south and to the southwest, and that would work its way across our southern counties through the evening hours into the wee hours of Friday morning. Again, rain chances aren't that great, but something pops, it could very easily become severe, which is why Storm Prediction Center does have 2 on a scale of 1 to 5 off in the western half of our viewing area, that darker shade of pink, and then just the isolated off to the east. And Friday, almost the same situation, where there's going to be the isolated chance for a strong to severe storm. Low rain chances overall, but again, if something does happen to crop up, could become strong or potentially severe. We are also going to be heating up going into the weekend, right around 90 degrees starting Friday, Saturday, Sunday, mid to upper 80s first part of next week, and low temperatures will be staying a good 5, almost 10 degrees above their respective lows going into next week. So the forecast today, this is going to be probably the best looking day of the next 7 days. We are going to have a little more sunshine later on, 78 degrees at noon, and then a high temperature today is going to make it up to 84. Then again, tomorrow we will have that chance for some rain. Again, got to emphasize, overall rain chances are not that great, but if something does crop up, could become strong, potentially severe. High winds and hail, the biggest threats. Same thing Friday night, Saturday night. So you definitely want to have that weather app with you and track things, send out alerts as necessary. And still some rain chances going into the first part of next week, which really isn't bad news. You know, outdoor activities, won't be raining everywhere constantly, but boy, at least we got that shot at some rain. Whole broad weather pattern change, which is nice.
All right, good news. Thank you, Mike.
Time right now, 6:50, 66 degrees on your Wednesday.
Look out there with live cam. Mike was talking about the chance of severe storms, but not today. Looking calm out there at 66 degrees. We'll be right back.
In today's Tech Bites, Apple and Google are teaming up to fight location tracking. The companies are working together to propose industry standards meant to help combat the misuse of Bluetooth location tracking devices. They're now accepting input from advocates and hope to develop a final specification in place by the end of the year. Facebook Reels will offer more personalized content similar to TikTok's For You page. Users can hit the show more or show less buttons to indicate your preferences after viewing a video, and then AI will do the rest. And LinkedIn is using artificial intelligence to help job hunters. The site is testing a feature that will generate personalized messages that candidates can send to hiring managers. The AI draft pulls information from your profile, the manager's page, the job description, and the company. Those are your Tech Bites. Have a great day.
All right, problems remain here at 35 northbound. There at Top Rewind, you can see at least 3 lanes still remain blocked at this hour. Just remember to watch out for these first responders. This is a pretty serious crash that's been reported, and you may have received a push alert on your mobile device. Again, 3 lanes blocked right now. It does appear that this also involves some sort of 18-wheeler. Traffic is down to 1 lane. Some of that actually exiting there at Loop 1604. So this is on the northeast side. Avoid the area is my suggestion if you can, or start looking for a different route. Again, we have multiple first responders on the scene, so let's hope everybody's doing okay out there. But it has been a pretty messy morning commute, I would say, Mike. So, yeah, I hate to see a problem like that along 35.
Yeah, and especially like we were talking about that southbound traffic with the rubberneckers. All right, over the next couple of days. Now, today we're going to be up to 84 degrees, and same thing tomorrow. But today fairly tranquil. The next few days, not great rain chances, but anything that does happen to pop up could become strong to potentially severe quite easily. We do have those threats for severe weather tomorrow evening, as well as Friday and even Saturday, and it's going to be getting much, much hotter as we go on into the weekend.
Yeah, I see that 90 there, and I'm like,
and humidity just to kind of is the icing on the cake.
With it as well. Okay, thanks, Mike.
Go out there and make it a great day, people.
Bye. We'll see you at 9.